The Commodore 64 Family Pack is the...
Created by Commodore International, the Commodore 64 hit the market in 1982. It was part of the third generation of gaming consoles during the 8-bit era, and even led to the development of the Commodore 64 gaming system. While the European version of the console didn't do so well, the original Commodore 64 became a massive hit and still holds a Guinness World Record for being the best-selling single computer ever. The Commodore 64 boasts exclusive titles, ports, and games from various platforms, all of which help build its legendary status. These games, whether good or bad, played a significant role in defining the Commodore 64 and its legacy. Now, picking just 15 top-notch games for my list of the best Commodore 64 games is no easy task. There are just so many amazing titles to choose from. I've put in the effort to narrow it down, but of course I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you think I missed any must-mention games, let me know. Honestly, the best part about making these lists are reading the comments afterward. I love reading what others grew up playing, which was their favorites, which console they'd like to see covered next, what their rankings are, and when people tell me my list is trash. Seriously though, let's get started. These are the 15 best Commodore 64 games. Number 15, MULE, or Mule. Now, number 15 might shock some people, but the C64 got a great chance to show off what it could do with Mule, a game that ended up influencing a bunch of other strategy games. Its unique genre really set Mule apart from the other types of games on the system, and the OGs appreciated its depth and lack of typical action elements. Players dove into the world of Arata, an anagram of Atari, competed in groups of up to 4 to build a thriving digital colony on a new world. While Mule wasn't exclusive to the C64, it helped the Commodore start carving out its legacy. Although it wasn't a bestseller, it's still a great game for the system, and still a blast trying to make the most money in your 12 turns to be crowned the winner. It's what you might call a thinking man's game. Number 14, Whizball. For many Commodore 64 fans, playing Whizball was just a rite of passage and a great way to tease your friends who owned the other video game console systems. With its incredibly level scrolling and an amazing soundtrack by the reliable Martin Galway, Whizball stands tall among the best Commodore 64 games. It might take you a little time to get the hang of your ball's constant bouncing, but once you do and start grabbing power-ups, the game's true depth and charm come to light. It's definitely one of the most beautifully designed games you're ever going to get to experience on the C64. Number 13, Laser Squad. Now in Laser Squad, you take charge of a team of Marines, gear them up with weapons and armor before diving into one of 7 different scenarios. Your missions could involve taking out a target, making a getaway from the mines, or surviving in a dangerous alien landscape. Each turn, your Marines have a set number of action points to use. In battles, you can either shoot from a distance or engage in close combat. The terrain is crucial and you'll need to open doors or blast them open. The top-down view enhances tactical gameplay and the strategic scanner gives you a full view of the level. The graphics are quite detailed, and while the sound is minimal, it does add to the experience. A good tip if you've never played this game before: when you start out, if you save half the Marines, you can set them to opportunity fire to quickly shoot at enemies that come into view. Number 12, Bubble Bobble. Now, there have been a lot of classic arcade games adapted for the Commodore 64. You might even see more on this list, but Bubble Bobble stands out as one of the top picks. With its adorable and colorful graphics, though a bit squished, and its catchy, upbeat soundtrack, the C64 really nailed the vibe of the original arcade version. It was definitely another game to flaunt in front of your friends who owned the other systems. Sure, it doesn't include all of the hidden features from the arcade classic, and jumping by pressing up on the joystick isn't quite the same as having a dedicated button for it, but if you want a solid version of the beloved arcade classic, this is it. A fantastic conversion that definitely shouldn't be overlooked. Number 11, Rainbow Islands. Software Creations did an awesome job bringing Bubble Bubble to the C64 with Firebird, and they had plans to release the sequel through Firebird as well. However, a disagreement between Taito caused some delays, and it eventually ended up being published by Ocean. Now, in this sequel, players navigate through several themed islands where Bub and Bob use rainbows to stay ahead of rising floodwaters. Jumping on a rainbow will squish any enemy below, turning them into a colorful gem depending on where they land on the screen. If you collect all 7 gems in order, you're going to unlock a huge bonus item at the end of the 4 rounds of each island, provided you can take down the adorable bosses. The graphics in Rainbow Islands are fantastic, capturing the diverse themes like insects, ghosts, and even arachnoids. The music is delightful, featuring a cheerful version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, along with some cool sound effects. The gameplay is incredibly engaging, with hidden items and power-ups waiting to be found. Overall, it's a fantastic conversion of another amazing game. Number 10. Double Dragon. Double Dragon is packed with nostalgic arcade vibes that we all adore, especially me since it makes most of my lists. Bringing the excitement of the arcade right into your home. No matter what you think about it, one thing's clear, this is definitely top-notch beat-em-up action, and it plays a big role in paving the way for classics like Streets of Rage to hit store shelves later on worldwide. In this game, players choose one of 2 fighters on a quest to rescue a girl from a gang. How they'll decide who wins her heart at the end is another story. One of the trickiest parts of this game is avoiding bullets from those one-hit kill guns. Yep, Double Dragon packs some serious firepower. It's easy to jump into but hard to walk away from, making it one of the best games for endless fun and passing the time with your Commodore 64. Number 9. International Karate. Now hear me out, you tell me if this deserves the 9th spot. So, there's 3 fighters battling against each other on a beach, trying to be the first to score 6 points. After every 2 rounds, there's a bonus game, which is either deflecting bouncy balls or kicking away bombs. Now, unfortunately for the Commodore 64 version, this game only has the bouncy ball bonus game, but it performed impressively. The music, composed by Ron Hubbard, accompanied by a single background that was packed with clever Easter eggs, those delightful surprises you could spend ages uncovering. The controls were smooth and easy to pick up, but there was also a deeper system that rewarded players who kept practicing. Simplistic and satisfying, truly a classic. Number 8. Bruce Lee. Now, when you think of Kung Fu, Bruce Lee is usually the first name that's going to pop into your head. He's not just one of the most iconic martial artists ever, he's also the guy who really brought Kung Fu to this side of the world. So, what's this game about? Well, it seems that Bruce Lee's on a quest to find a wizard and beat him to score some serious cash. Not exactly the kind of lesson you'd expect from a Kung Fu master, right? This side-scrolling game might strain your eyes, but it's pretty straightforward and fun. By collecting lanterns and climbing ladders to take out enemies, which makes you feel like you're in your own action flick. Speaking of enemies, there's only 2, a ninja and a sumo wrestler who show up pretty frequently, but don't worry, they don't stand a chance against your lightning-fast moves. Picture Pitfall but with ninjas and Bruce Lee, and you'll get a sense of what this game's all about. It's entertaining, a little frustrating at times, but a fantastic addition for any C64 enthusiast looking to enhance their collection. Number 7. Impossible Mission. Impossible Mission originally debuted on the Commodore 64, but later made its way to platforms like the Atari 7800 and the BBC Micro. The game was also designed to showcase the C64's impressive features, including the rare use of digitized speech, and it combined platforming with adventure elements, making it truly unique compared to the other games of the time. Inspired by the classic TV show Mission Impossible, players took on the role of a secret agent on a mission to stop a villainous scientist. Lauded for its easy-to-use controls and creative level design, Impossible Mission became a definitive title for the C64. In 1988, the sequel called Impossible Mission 2 was released on the C64, although by then it was no longer considered the main platformer for the series. Number 6. Mayhem in Monsterland. Mayhem in Monsterland was created as a special title for the Commodore 64, launched toward the end of the system's life. By this time, many gamers had switched over to the other consoles, but Commodore was optimistic that a well-made game could still attract its loyal fans, and it worked, kinda. The game featured a brave dinosaur on a quest to bring the magic back to Monsterland. He was full of charm and energy. While it didn't revolutionize the genre, it offered a solid single-player experience that resonated especially well in Europe, where the C64 still had a strong following. In hindsight, Mayhem in Monsterland could have probably been a bigger hit if it had come out earlier, but in the end it became a case of too little too late. Still, the nostalgia surrounding the game eventually led to a version being released on the Wii, in Europe, sparking renewed interest in the magical adventure. Even in its twilight, Commodore was still pushing out creative ideas. Number 5. Shadow of the Beast. Shadow of the Beast was quite the buzz back in the day, mainly because of the stunning graphics. While the Commodore 64 version didn't have the same level of detail as some of the other console games, it still managed to capture the game's incredible vibe. To sum up the story in a nutshell, a kid gets snatched away and transformed by dark magic into a monstrous servant for a beastly overlord. As an adult, this monster starts to regain his human memories when things go south, and he sets out to fight everything in his path to break the curse and take down the beast boss. Now obviously there's a little more to the story, but that's the basic idea. The main character and the various monsters look great. The background scrolling can be a bit overwhelming on the eyes at times, but the gameplay is fantastic, making it a classic example of a side-scrolling game done right. Number 4. Wizard. Wizard holds a special place in the history for the C64. Developed exclusively for the console, it was well loved by players. This fantasy platformer had the potential to become a huge franchise, thanks to its balanced challenges and easy to pick up gameplay. Even today, Wizard is cherished by the Commodore 64 community and is regarded as one of the platform's classics. Unfortunately, the game's sales and long-term success were hindered not by its quality, but by the competition it faced. Just before Wizard hit the markets, Jumpman was released, and it was also available on the C64 along with a bunch of other consoles. Jumpman overshadowed Wizard with its superior marketing and similar gameplay elements. Now, for my money, Wizard on the C64 is still the better game, hence why it made the list here, and Jumpman is over on the list for the 5200. Wizard is another must-play for the C64. Number 3. Maniac Mansion. So you might be surprised to learn that Lucasfilms actually created more games than just those tied to the Star Wars franchise. The storyline is so out there that you can't help but be drawn into it, and Maniac Mansion is one of those games that you'll want to revisit over and over. In this wild tale, a mad scientist has gotten himself into trouble with a sentient meteor that's taken control of his mind. Yes, you heard that right. The game centers around a guy named Dave Miller who's on a quest to save his girlfriend, Sandy Pants, not to be confused with Sandy Cheeks. Maniac Mansion features various endings based on the choices you make. It's a non-linear experience where you click on different areas and issue the commands to the different characters. You can guide Dave along with 2 other characters at a time from a selection of your 6 friends, going through the mansion to save Sandy. But be careful of hidden traps and remember to solve puzzles as you navigate through Lucasfilm's very first self-published game. Number 2. Turrican. Now there's a bit of a rule in the gaming world that says every Commodore 64 list has to include at least one game by Manfred Trenz. While some may argue that Turrican 2 is the superior title, I'm sticking with the original. When it launched in 1990, there really wasn't anything else like it. Sure, it did take some inspiration from the lesser-known arcade game Psycho Nis Oscar, but Trenz's technical skills on the Commodore blew everyone away, and it still holds up impressively today. Turrican is a mix of platforming and shooting, featuring amazing graphics, a fantastic soundtrack, and some of the most intense gameplay you're gonna find. It truly deserves all the praise it's received over the years. Number 1. The Last Ninja. The Last Ninja is one of the most successful games for the Commodore 64, selling around 4 million copies throughout the world. It went on to spawn 2 sequels and was praised for its superb graphics. Looks like this ninja was really earning his paycheck. Now, The Last Ninja has everything that I look for as a retro computer gamer: combat, the need to explore, and some fun but challenging puzzle solving. As the player, you have to learn the ways of the ninja while collecting sacred scrolls and getting pumped to assassinate an evil shogun boss who's done some terrible things. The world is viewed in an isometric perspective, allowing the players to move in 8 directions. Movements are relative to the direction the ninja is facing, but also restricted if there's something in the way. There's just something about the way the game looks that screams computer game to me. I don't know if it's the isometric view, the colors, the music, it hits perfectly. And that's my list for the 15 best Commodore 64 video games. Now, if you've made it this far, you're awesome. And if you like the content, you're probably my age or older, so you need to get up and stretch your back. Don't forget to suggest a console you'd like me to cover next. If you want to check out other videos like this, click on the descriptions. I have a list of everything that's already been talked about. Thanks again for clicking on this video. I really do appreciate it. I'll be back with a new video in about a week. Thanks again, guys. Take care.